first instrument was the clarinet. My father was an amateur musician, and he tried to play different instruments and gave them up in frustration. So my brother wound up playing the trumpet. My brother's 2 years older. My father then came home with the clarinet one day, tried to play it, gave it up. I got the clarinet. And I always say I'm a very lucky person, because if I was the third kid in the family, I would be playing accordion. That was his next instrument. So, but yeah, I played clarinet, and my brother and I, with the name Peplowski, we grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. So we played in a Polish polka band when I was about 12 years old, and he was 14. So, and it was like a little kids' novelty band around Cleveland, and we were playing weddings, dances, local TV shows. And the funny thing is, I always say the origins of jazz are in Polish polka music, because the clarinet improvises in that music, just like in a New Orleans jazz band. So the clarinet's playing all this kind of arpeggio-related improvisations while the two trumpets are playing together. Every song's got 3 or 4 sections. There's a drum break at the end. It's weirdly like New Orleans jazz. So I kind of learned to play like you would learn how to swim by being thrown into the water. It's just you have to do it. So there we were. Well, my music education is, as I said, mostly on-the-job training. I never took a jazz lesson in my life. I didn't go to any schools to study that. I was studying classical clarinet and some saxophone too with another teacher. But all the stuff I learned about jazz music, I learned by doing, just playing and experimenting. Although when I was a kid, the Berklee School of Music used to have a correspondence course, and I actually took that. So you'd send them the answers, then they'd send you back the grade, and you didn't have the internet to cheat, so you have to actually figure everything out. So I did that, and I learned how to play the piano. I taught myself how to play. Then later on, I learned the theory, kind of in a backwards way. So I went to Cleveland State for 2 years, because I liked studying with this clarinet teacher I was studying with, classical. And I got an offer to go on the road with the Tommy Dorsey band, led by a guy named Buddy Morrow, who had that band for about 25 years. So I left. I left college, went on the road, did that for 2.5 years, and then moved to New York. And I took some lessons with the great saxophone player Sonny Stitt, but that was all a little bit later, So I try to teach students the same thing now, because they all come from the other side. They're learning all this technical stuff. If you've got this chord, play this scale, and I tell them, that's great. All the information you can garner is great, but don't forget about instinct and just taking chances and closing your eyes and just let it rip and see what happens. And you can learn as much that way. That's a valuable part of jazz that you can't really teach. You just have to get in there and try things. Well, I do a lot of workshops and clinics in schools, and in fact, Shelley Berg and I, the great piano player, we're close friends, and we're going to try to do more things together where we present kind of our take on playing music. And what I like to do is give students kind of an alternative approach to improvising, more kind of melody-based, melodic, I would say, approach to improvisation, even over more, because I hate labels, but more quote-unquote modern jazz. You still, to me, one of the most melodic players in jazz music is Ornette Coleman. And people call him avant-garde, but he's got a great sense of melody, and he's got a great arc to his solos, and so that's what I give them when I go in. I try to impart that to them, and the value of starting back at the beginnings of jazz and going forward, and not just starting here. It bothers me when anybody, old or young, is just very segmented and just says, "Oh, I just like this one facet," Oh. My favorite 3 songs from the Great American Songbook, this changes quite often. But I would say one of them, believe it or not, because I count Duke Ellington as part of the Great American Songbook, I love this piece he does as a piano solo called The Single Petal of a Rose. I just love that. And I've recorded it a few times as a clarinet solo, but I still listen to the way he plays it on piano. It's so beautiful and so moving. And I also love Rodgers and Hart Spring is Here. I'm a sucker for really kind of sad, melodies. I listen to music at home, and my wife tells me, "Could you turn that off? I'm getting so depressed. I want to hang myself." So I listen to all those Frank Sinatra torch song records, and I love that stuff, though. And I love, Harold Arlen wrote such great, deep songs. Just to pick one of many that I love, Last Night When We Were Young. That's another one that's this very heavy, song. But it's the words and the music are such a match, and it just really, really tugs at your heartstrings, and that's I love that kind of stuff. So those are my current three.